What exactly did Jensen Huang have to say when it comes to Samsung?
Yeah, well, he certainly knows how to move the markets, that's for sure, Tom. But, I mean, importantly, he gave some hope, and Samsung really needs that right now, especially when you think about the more than 30% slide they had in their market share last year alone. But the hope was really around its HBM product. Now, HBM, I mean, we've spoken about this several times, but it's high bandwidth memory. It's an essential part of AI infrastructure, and Samsung has not been able to get its product certified by Nvidia to date. And this is something that actually Samsung said they'd be able to achieve by the end of 2024. That clearly hasn't happened. But Jensen Huang, speaking at CES, said that he is optimistic that they'll be able to do it and that they're working very fast. And this actually showed up in the results, of course, from Samsung, because we saw a lot more money going into R&D expenses, also into capacity expansion costs. And that, again, speaks to that HBM story and how much they really need to get this over the line, because we've continued to see that slide in the share price versus what you see for SK Hynix, for instance. It's smaller peer over in Korea, but one that has been supplying HBM chips into Nvidia. And again, just because the AI theme, I mean, it's not going away anytime soon. And this week alone, we've seen, for instance, Microsoft saying it's going to be spending $80 billion building out data centers just in 2025. That sparked a rally in SK Hynix, other key AI beneficiaries. But Samsung has not been able to play a part in this just yet, and that is really what they need to do really this coming year.
Yeah, as you say, they didn't get the certification from Nvidia by the end of last year. Maybe they get it in the first quarter, so we'll be watching for that as potentially a pivotal moment for the company. When it comes to the results, the quarterly numbers, Annabelle, what else stood out to you in terms of what we learned about this chip maker?
Yeah, so these were the preliminary figures. Of course, we get the full sector or group reading later in the month, but they were largely disappointing. So investors already kind of had pretty negative perceptions or expectations for these figures, but still they managed to undershoot those. In terms of the actual numbers, so we saw operating profit coming in at 6.5 trillion won. That was short of the average analyst projection for nearly 9 trillion won, so quite a big miss there. And also revenue came to 75 trillion won, so that was also shy of estimates. So yeah, not great numbers. We actually saw a drop in Samsung's share price at the open that later reversed with Jensen Huang's comments, so just going back to his ability to move the markets. But it is also important to note, given the share price slide we have seen over the past 12 months, a lot of the bad news has already possibly been baked into the share price. Still, though, the company is facing a significant number of headwinds, not just in terms of its abilities around AI and HBM, but there's other factors as well that are important to note for this company. Firstly, you've got the other sectors. You've got things like smartphones, TVs, other appliances. They're continuing to face growing competition. There's also their legacy chips. Now, these are ones that are used to supply to consumer electronics, things like PCs, smartphones. They also are seeing declining figures there. I mean, SK Hynix, for instance, has already started to sort of reduce its production of these types of chips. So, yeah, it is what some analysts are saying is one of the toughest moments in the company's history. But the next thing that's going to be watched very closely is Samsung unveiling its latest Galaxy smartphone lineup. That's happening in San Jose on January 22, so a couple of weeks from now. They are saying they're going to make better use of AI, and that's really one of the key themes again for this year, the greater use of agentic AI that's going to be built into smartphones. But yes, headwinds, that's probably the key takeaway for Samsung.